A girl in hospital in Cleveland who I think the only hope for her survival is if you call her in hospital and encourage her to put on a gastric nasal drip for the time being, stabilizing.
Okay.
She's totally bloated with edema, 58 pounds.
How old is she?
24.
How long has she had it?
10 years.
A young woman in Cleveland is dying. Her only chance of survival is a feeding tube, which she refuses. Her mother, having heard of Claude-Pierre, calls Canada as a last hope.
The only way I can talk her into it over the phone is if I tell her that she can come here, if I promise her that she can come here.
I know. I told her in 3 to 4 weeks we might have space.
Honey, we would take space for her if she's dying.
I don't know what else to do, or I don't know what to do.
What about a feeding tube?
No.
Why not?
They suggested it.
To whom?
Yeah, her two doctors suggested.
To her?
To her.
And of course she's not going to accept it.
Right.
Her head won't let her accept it.
Are you oh.
Her head won't let her do it, and she's hoping that somebody has the strength and the knowledge to be able to save her life. She can't do it herself.
She's just hanging on by a thread.
I should probably talk to her doctor. I will talk to your daughter and try to persuade her. She has to be in a better medical situation in order to come here.
Oh, I know that. But I mean, now it's, oh, as if you would see her.
I know.
Oh, this is the sickest she is. She's like sitting up constantly, and she has nothing in her stomach. She hasn't eaten like in a week. Oh, that's her IV. Oh,
Paula, is it possible for me to talk with her?
Yeah, hang on.
The young woman's body is breaking down. She has edema, the last stage of starvation, where the body actually swells from lack of protein. Although the pain is excruciating, she's frantic because she thinks she's gaining weight.
I wasn't bloated like this before.
Angel, do you know why you became bloated? It's because your body needs to live on certain things, and one of them is protein. And
it won't go away. I know it won't go away. The swelling won't go down. This is my weight right now.
Angel, the swelling will go down. It always goes down, honey. It goes down only when you have some protein in you.
But they'll make me have the 2+8. I can't dispose.
You know what, sweetheart? Maybe just have the tube for starters.
I'm telling you now, Peggy, you don't understand these people. They don't listen to me here.
Sweetheart, can I try to talk to them for you?
You can try, but I gotta throw up, please. I can't talk anymore. Okay, Peggy,
I know, I hear her. Yeah, got it.
I never thought she would get this sick. I really didn't. It's going to take a miracle, I think, for my daughter to live.
Very low, Neil. For Peggy, the task ahead is a delicate one. She must secure the cooperation of both the patient and the doctors who are treating her. Lynn Schuer's report heads towards a dramatic conclusion.
Good evening, Metro Health Medical Center. May I help you?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Dr. Alter.
Yes.
This is Peggy Claude-Pierre knows there isn't much time left. She finally reaches a doctor in Cleveland who is trying to save the 24-year-old anorexic.
She's very weak and tired, and she's probably at about 59, maybe 60 pounds.
What is your prognosis for her, sir?
If she continues at this pace, I would say she wouldn't go longer than a week.
The patient's only hope for survival is a feeding tube. But under the law, she has the right to refuse treatment. Claude-Pierre, summoned to help by a frantic mother, must convince the doctor to insert the tube.
It is impossible for her in this acute stage to be able to make a choice. It's absolutely impossible for her to make a choice about being well. She doesn't deserve to be well in her mind.
As far as the legal system's concerned, they say she's competent, and if she doesn't want treatment, that's her decision.
So you're expecting her to die, Michael? Michael, she can live, but I need you to intervene as soon as you can. She's got not very much time, and you're not going to feel better, and I'm not going to feel better if we don't try.
Okay, well, let me go up there and take a look.
Okay, I will be part of any team. I know what she needs. It's going to be sheer hell to bring her back from where she is.
Several hours later, over the phone, Claude-Pierre successfully coaxes the patient into taking the tube.
You're my daughter and my best friend.
She also promises her she can come to Canada as soon as she is strong enough to make the trip. But Claude-Pierre doesn't hold out much hope.
I think with this one we've got about a 4% chance.
A week later, the patient is still alive. Her name is Shauna Critch, and she has been fighting anorexia since she was 14. In all that time, 5 hospitals and 30 doctors have failed to help. Now her mother clings to Claude-Pierre's advice and stays with her daughter around the clock. Miraculously, Shauna, her hair thinned from malnutrition, has kept the feeding tube in, but her mind is clearly consumed by anorexia.
I like it right now.
Well, I don't know, you have to ask the nurse on that. Because what will happen, Shauna, if you get weighed and you see a larger number than what you think, it's going to be fluid, but you're not going to see it as fluid.
Well, I don't care.
But that's going to scare you even more.
Well, at least it'll keep me from eating.
That illness has that grip, it just won't let them get better. It's like, it's an eating disorder, but it's like the eating disorder eats them up. It takes their whole mind and every part of their body and just destroys it. It takes a healthy person, a 24-year-old woman that maybe is thinking about marriage or maybe having their first baby or maybe getting into their career. Everything like that was just taken away. It just like the last 10 years didn't even exist. She stopped living at 15 years old. That's how I feel. Her life ended at 15.
Claude-Pierre is now part of the process to save Shauna's life. She has advised her mother and doctors how to deal with Shauna's obsession.
Look, let's not worry about numbers right now, okay? I told you if I could get you...
I know numbers are important to nobody else, but they're important to me. I can't.
That's your concern, though, is the calories. It's very frustrating. There's a big power struggle with how much we can do and how much she'll let us do.
I don't feel like a human being anymore.
If you hadn't convinced the doctor to put in the feeding tube, what would have happened to Shauna?
I think we all realized she would have been dead by now. But Lynn, you know, that hospital was incredible. I commend them, because it took a team effort to pull that kid through.
The first step has worked. After 2 months of intensive care and 3 weeks on a feeding tube, Shauna Critch leaves the hospital, ready to start trying to survive, this time in the hands of Claude-Pierre.
There she is. Yeah.
Maybe that's her mother behind her. Yeah. Yeah, here she comes.
Oh. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, sweetheart. I really didn't think Shauna would make it. I thought she was too far gone. To have her here is nothing short of a miracle. I mean, she's a miracle child. They all are, but this one even more so. This is about you, Shauna. We're your tools to make you well, sweetheart. We'll explain to you what's necessary to make you well, and everything is talked through with you. This isn't about force. This isn't about unkindness. We'll hold you till you're better, sweetheart. Hi-yo.
How can you take in yet another child whose family can't afford to pay for this?
I'm not even sure how that's going to happen. I can't afford to personally, but I'm hoping something will happen, because how can we afford to let her die?
You're bankrupt right now.
I'm not bankrupt, but all the equity in both the clinic and my private home and my children's home is used up for other people's children.
Is it worth it?
How can you put a value on human life? It is to us.
You're here.
Yeah.
That's what counts right now, this very second in time. You're here.
When these children, when these victims know that there is hope in the world, that they can make it, they hold on. They're so incredibly tenacious. And it's amazing to watch them follow through.
Like most of those now treating eating disorders, Claude-Pierre has not yet done the follow-up studies to document her work. But just a few months ago, during our last visit with this woman who calls herself the witch doctor, this is what we found. That Shauna Critch has settled into the program. That Sarah Jurgensen is not far from finishing. That Donna Brooks is able to go out and smile again. that Jane McCluskey is no longer bedridden and taking her first steps. What we found is that all of her patients gained something more than weight. Now they have another chance at life.
Lynn Sure joins us now. And Lynn, what an extraordinary journey. Tell me, what is the success rate and what's the long-term success rate?
Well, Barbara, Peggy Claude-Pierre has treated something like 400 patients in 10 years. I must tell you, we've spoken to a number of them and their families. We have found no evidence of failure whatsoever. I mean, I was skeptical. I've seen enough stories. I got there. This is a very safe place, and it's a very healing place. As for Peggy herself, she says it's not magic. Let me just read you what she said. It's perseverance, persistence, empathy, intuition, vision, and patience.
A lot of things.
We have with us also in Boston Dr. Timothy Johnson, ABC's medical editor. And Tim, I wanted to ask you, does the medical profession now treat anorexia the same as they did 12 years ago? And what do you think that orthodox medicine thinks of this woman's technique?
Well, the first question, I would say no. I think the real experts in this field are very humble about how little they know and how much they don't know. And they try to incorporate many different approaches in their treatment. Certainly in the initial stages, it's more of a medical approach. But they all acknowledge, as does Peggy stress, that this is not primarily a food problem, but a self-image problem. And they utilize many other approaches. As to her work, I think they would applaud it. They would be amazed at the commitment and the dedication she brings to it. I think they would be very envious of her resources, having 5 staff people per patient and being able to have them in a place like that for 9 to 12 months.
Lynn, most of these children seem to be children who are very bright, children and adults, perfectionist, and are loved. Now, is this something that a parent can do? Suppose a parent says, I'll stay with the child 24 hours a day. I'll love, I'll call her darling and sweetheart. Well, what about that? There are people watching who
Well, don't forget,
must know.
Peggy Claude-Pierre was a parent when she figured this all out. She was studying psychology, but she was a parent.
Yeah.
She learned it on her own, and she kind of stumbled into this intensity, the thing that Tim was talking about, that the other physicians are applauding. So could a person do it at home? Probably not. She's writing a textbook. She hopes to get the word out. Maybe other clinics will open up so that other doctors, other hospitals will use some of the same techniques.
Does she cut them loose at the end like a good psychiatrist would?
Absolutely, and they go away and they live very good lives.
And it is not a question of ego. It's a slow suicide?
Oh, yeah, it's not vanity. Do you know, she said to me that what they're really doing is eating less and less so that they will become smaller and smaller so that they will simply disappear.
And what she's trying to make them do is to want to stay.
Absolutely.
Big challenge.
This is not about fitting into a smaller dress size. This is much bigger.
Well, now, thank you,
Lynn.
Lynn. I mean, this was really, as we said, extraordinary for us all. And Tim.
Well, don't forget to watch Nightline tonight after your local news, and that is 2020 for tonight. We thank you for joining us.
And remember, we're in touch, so you'll be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs.
And for all of us here at 2020, we hope you have a good weekend. Good night.